Live from WatchMojo, it's a Saturday Night Live list.
Run away!
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst movies by Saturday Night Live stars.
You were great today. Just absolutely amazing.
I don't think I've ever had so much fun.
Acting is fun.
For this list, we're not necessarily looking at films based on SNL skits, though those could make the cut.
You know, I'm a changed man.
We're really considering the entire filmographies of every SNL repertory cast member through the years, and choosing the worst of the worst.
This is... Is he your stepbrother at least, or adopted or something?
Number 10, Taxi.
Look how tight you gripping the steering wheel. Damn.
I'm trying to get in my mode here, right? I'm trying to get in the game.
Why don't you let the game come to you?
Okay, we'll just come out and say it. The general public seems to have come to the conclusion that Jimmy Fallon isn't exactly a top-quality actor.
What?
Although it doesn't matter much now, with him being the fantastic host of The Tonight Show. Back in 2004, we still had hope for his movie career.
All I got to go on is the MO, modus operandi. That's police jargon for
I know what it means. It's not police jargon, it's Latin.
Taxi, which teamed Fallon up with Queen Latifah, had promise. Despite their comedic chops, though, the story of Fallon's police detective teaming up with Latifah's taxi driver couldn't live up to the French film it was based on, scoring a measly 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Thankfully, this doesn't seem to have derailed Fallon's career in the slightest.
This is a badge, okay? That means you're not allowed to scream at me!
Number 9, Cop Out.
I'm gonna play the bad guy on this one.
Doubtful.
Undoubtful.
Like many films on this list, Cop Out sounded like it could have been good. Director Kevin Smith of Clerks clearly knows comedy, and he was given the yippee-ki-yay man himself, Bruce Willis, and SNL star Tracy Morgan to work with.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
I've never seen that movie.
So, Cop Out had the makings of a solid buddy cop film, but unfortunately, it fell flat on its face, and not in the good old slapstick way. The plot was criticized as uninventive, and the cast lacked serious chemistry.
How many guns did you get?
This is the hidden nanny cam that I had in my bedroom.
Smith put the blame directly on Willis's shoulders, while praising Morgan, whom he said was a saving grace.
And why did you smack me?
I was in the moment, and the moment said smack you.
But the bottom line as far as moviegoers saw it was that the film was a cop-out.
It just went south. Right away. The whole thing went south, Jack.
Number 8, Joe Dirt.
$5. That's mine now. You're my lucky meteor.
We'd be remiss if we started this entry without acknowledging David Spade's comedic abilities. The man can be incredibly funny. We need only direct you to his work with Chris Farley to prove our point. But this wasn't one of his better films.
I got the poo on me.
Spade plays a stereotypical redneck American, right down to the mullet and poor grammar, who searches for his long-lost parents while getting into white trash adventures along the way. Among other criticisms, Joe Dirt was chastised for having a lame plot that few could relate to.
Brandon, you see that moon? You don't know how many nights I spent alone staring at that moon.
Some credited Spade with being the movie's only saving grace, but even his efforts couldn't save Dirt from film critic beatdowns.
She's your sister, dude. She's gotta be, and you made out with her, man. What's wrong with you, you pervert?
Number 7, Norbit.
Hey, you Dirt.
Eddie Murphy in a fat suit worked for the Nutty Professor, but that was back in 1996 when he was at the top of his game, and fans enjoyed his antics.
I'm terribly sorry about all this. I hope I haven't ruined everybody's evening.
11 years later, and tastes had changed, but Eddie Murphy, it seems, had not.
Hey, you Dirt.
For Norbit, he donned the fat suit once again, playing both lead characters, the lispy and nerdy Norbit and his crude, obese wife, Rasputia.
I don't weigh no damn 300 pounds. I weigh 165. How you doing?
Fans and critics alike responded negatively to the story of Norbit escaping Rasputia and finding his true love, and thought the countless fat jokes were tiresome.
Are you wearing bottoms?
Of course I'm wearing bottoms.
The film earned Murphy 3 Razzies, but oddly enough, it also garnered an Oscar nom. Well, guess the makeup was good.
That scientifically proved that you was adjusting my seat.
That's not science.
It is, and just let it go.
It's not science.
I said let it go.
Number 6, The Ladies' Man.
Nick Carter, you got the ladies man.
Like all the SNL alums on this list, Tim Meadows is an actual star, capable of quality comedy. Just go watch Mean Girls if you need proof.
Hell no, I did not leave the South Side for this.
But The Ladies' Man wasn't the film for him. In theory, it should have worked, as the SNL skit was hilarious, and Meadows played the character perfectly on television. But the movie version shouldn't have made it past dress rehearsal.
I understand that you are a nun?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's cool.
The film failed to appropriately adapt the best qualities of the skits, which included Meadows hilariously giving love advice to the silver screen.
What is love? What is this longing in our hearts for togetherness? Is it not the sweetest flower?
Critics panned The Ladies' Man for lacking sufficient material to be converted into a feature movie. So, bottom line, the script didn't cut it, and Meadows just didn't have enough to work with.
Wake up! It is 2:30 in the a.m. and you are listening to The Ladies' Man.
Number 5, The Love Guru.
Do you trust me?
From the same guy who brought you Austin Powers and Wayne Campbell comes The Love Guru.
In my book, I know you are, but what am I? I explain that when love goes wrong, nothing goes right. Yes.
It'd be unfair to compare Mike Myers' guru Maurice Pitka to his other characters, as they're bona fide classics. But the general consensus seemed to be that the guru doesn't hold up against any competition.
Let me answer it this way.
Hindus across the world considered the character wildly offensive even before the film was released, and that didn't bode well for the film's box office performance, as it failed to make back its budget.
Marishka Hargate, Your Holiness.
Oh, Rajneesh.
Perhaps worst of all, a cast that included such talents as Myers, Justin Timberlake, Stephen Colbert, John Oliver, and Ben Kingsley couldn't even make The Love Guru work.
It's just ugly.
I like it.
Number 4, The Master of Disguise.
You're an idiot. A complete and total idiot.
There's no question that Dana Carvey's endless collection of impressions, voices, and facial gymnastic expressions can be funny. But this movie proved they don't hold up for 81 minutes. Carvey's Italian character, Pistachio Disguisi, yes, that's his actual name, is the titular master of disguise. But sadly, film audiences didn't find any of his disguises funny.
This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do.
While it's fair to give children's films a bit of leeway in the ratings department, this one pushed well past the boundaries of what's acceptable, earning a pitiful 1% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
But am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
The Master of Disguise essentially ended Carvey's film career, as he hasn't had a leading role since.
Please, Heavenly Father, show me a sign. I promise I will never mock you again.
Number 3, The Adventures of Pluto Nash.
That makes me look like a big doofus, doesn't it, honey?
Another strike for Eddie Murphy. Again, this king of comedy couldn't save what proved to be a box office bomb. But to be fair, there were some warning signs The Adventures of Pluto Nash would be a failure.
You blow up my club? You blow up my wood bar stools! You know how hard it is to get wood on the moon?
One of these signs was the fact that it's set on the moon. Okay, perhaps the studio heads thought the idea was bold and adventurous, but the final result, which saw Eddie Murphy running around the moon avoiding lunar gangsters, proved otherwise. It was a serious box office bomb, making only $7.1 million on a $100 million budget.
So you got it all figured out, huh?
Number 2, Jack and Jill.
Oh my God, I'm an idiot.
While WatchMojo voters did toss a large amount of votes behind Adam Sandler's other thoroughly loathed films, Pixels and Grown Ups, by far the Sandler film that generates the most hatred is Jack and Jill.
What are you doing? Why can't I just lay with you?
Critics and audiences seem to think Sandler went out of his way to insult them this time, as he played not only the typical Sandler stereotype protagonist, Jack, but also threw on cheap makeup and a wig to play his female counterpart, Jill.
Feel like the only reason he brought me on this cruise is for some Pacino-related shenanigans.
Although there are multiple criticisms that can be hurled at this film, which somehow managed to make money, the real question that's on everybody's mind is, how did Sandler drag Pacino into this?
Everyone wants my Dunkachino. Can't get enough of my Dunkachino.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions.
Excuse me, but in America, they don't allow smoking in aquariums.
Well, in Europe, we don't unilaterally attack a country just to steal their oil.
What matters is that I begin to heal my own self-inflicted wound by expressing personally to you just how truly sorry I am for what I did.
Buster, I'm sorry. Now you're going to have to see a bad side of me. Mac, your shaving cream, please.
Number 1, it's Pat.
Are you a brother or a sister?
Well, I'm an only child.
We're sorry, Julia Sweeney. You probably deserve better than this, but a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes doesn't lie. The story of Sweeney's Pat Riley and Dave Foley's Chris, both of whom are of indeterminate sex, meeting and falling in love just didn't cut it.
I think I'm probably always gonna love you, Pat.
Well, then great. Then we have no problems then.
Neither fans nor critics found the film's main gag, the androgynous aspect, funny in the slightest.
Huh?
Yeah, I just want to tell Pat that I love Pat for who Pat is and not for what Pat does.
It's Pat only cost $8 million to make, but the film didn't come anywhere close to making back its budget, bringing in just over $60,000. Of course, when you pull a movie from theaters after just one weekend, what do you expect?
This is just embarrassing. I'm gonna go.
Do you agree with our list? What do you think is the worst movie by an SNL star?
How did they find us? Obviously, you did something stupid.
For more thought-provoking top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
You crying, boy? You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Lamburger and some French fries.